cold wind pushed under the bridge like it owned the place. Marcus Reed pulled his thin blanket tighter around his shoulders. The concrete beneath him held yesterday's frost like it refused to forget. Chicago traffic roared above him, heavy and distant like anger that never sleeps. His fingers felt stiff when he tried to rub life back into them. A half-empty coffee cup sat beside him from the church truck. It tasted burnt and sweet at the same time, like survival does. He stared at the Dirk River moving slow under broken light poles. He used to work construction on the west side of Chicago, back when his hands were strong and his name meant something. Now most people walked past him like he was part of the bridge, like he had always been there and always would stay there. Marcus blew into his palms again and whispered to himself softly, "Just get through today. That's all. Just today." A train horn echoed far off near downtown. The sound made him think of mornings he used to rush to work. Steel toes on pavement, coffee in a real mug, clock punching life forward. That version of him felt like another man now. He reached into his backpack and touched a folded paper inside. It was a community college flyer from the library, construction safety certification, night classes, 8 weeks, $200. It felt like a joke and a promise at the same time. Marcus had always been good with his hands. His foreman used to say he could measure without a tape.
That memory still stayed warm even in this cold city. He held on to it like it could save him one day. A dog barked somewhere near the street above. He sat up straighter and scanned the sidewalk edge. A man in a black coat walked by and never looked down. That was normal now. Nobody looked down unless they had to. Marcus stood slowly, joints cracking like old wood. He needed heat more than pride right now. The Salvation Army shelter opened in 40 minutes across town. If he missed it, he slept under worse bridges. He started walking along the river path, head down. Each step felt like his boots were filled with stone. His stomach twisted, then settled into that dull, empty feeling again. Not pain anymore, just background noise. A woman passed him and clutched her purse tighter. He noticed it, then looked away fast. That reaction used to cut him deeper than hunger. Now it just passed through like wind. "Morning, Marcus," a voice called from behind a pillar. It was Leon, another man living near the bridge. Leon always wore a red hat no matter the weather. "Cold enough for you to quit yet?" Leon asked. Marcus gave a tired half smile. "Not today," he said. "Still got somewhere to go." Leon laughed softly. "Yeah, same here, same nowhere." They both stood quiet for a moment. Cars above them sounded like a constant storm. Leon handed Marcus a small granola bar. "Got this from the church drop yesterday. I saved one." Marcus took it carefully like it mattered more than food.
"Appreciate you," he said. Leon shrugged. "We all we got down here." Those words stuck longer than Marcus wanted them to. He kept walking before the feeling got too heavy. The city opened wider as he left the bridge shadow. Storefronts lit up like they belonged to another world. People inside looked warm without even trying. He avoided their reflections in the glass. His phone buzzed once in his pocket. He already knew what it was before checking. Battery low. Still no job responses. He didn't open the messages. He already knew the silence better than replies. Marcus kept moving toward the shelter. His thoughts drifted back to the day everything broke open. It was a Tuesday in March 2 years ago. Cold rain that felt like needles on skin. He was working a job site near Cicero Avenue. The foreman called everyone into a quick meeting. Marcus remembered the exact tone before the words came. Too calm, too rehearsed. That always meant bad news. "Company shutting the site down," the foreman said. "Budget cuts, effective immediately." Nobody spoke at first. Just rain hitting helmets. Marcus felt something drop inside him without sound. He had a mortgage then, a wife then, a daughter then. All of it still standing at that moment. Barely. That night he went home early. His wife was sitting at the kitchen table with papers. "You're home early," she said without looking up. "They shut it down," Marcus said. She nodded like she already knew what came next. That silence hurt more than shouting ever could. Bills were spread across the table like evidence in a case. The hospital one sat on top. Always the hospital one. His daughter watched cartoons in the next room, laughing at something that felt far away now. "We can catch up," Marcus said. Even as he said it, he didn't believe it. His wife finally looked at him. "I can't do this anymore," she said quietly. Those words didn't break loud. They broke soft, like glass slipping off a counter in slow motion. She moved out 2 weeks later. The house followed a month after that. Marcus tried picking up side jobs everywhere he could find: warehouse shifts, day labor, anything with cash at the end. But the gaps got bigger than the jobs, and the bills didn't care about gaps. The bank took the house first, then the car went after. He remembered sitting in an empty living room, nothing left but dust lines on the carpet. That was the last morning things were normal. A horn snapped him back to the present street. A bus rolled past, spraying slush onto the curb. Marcus stepped back fast, almost slipping. A man nearby cursed but didn't stop walking. He reached the shelter line early, already 15 people ahead of him. Everyone stood close but not together. That was the rule nobody said out loud. A volunteer in a blue coat walked along the line. She handed out gloves without asking questions. "Name?" she asked when she reached Marcus. "Marcus Reed," he said. She checked a clipboard.
"Same bed as last time? If it's open," he said. She nodded and moved on. Leon showed up behind him later, breathing heavy. "Almost missed it," Leon said. "You always almost miss it," Marcus replied. Leon smiled. "But I never do." Inside the shelter, the air smelled like bleach and old jackets. Heat hit Marcus like a memory of another life. He sat on a metal cot and flexed his hands. The feeling coming back hurt in a way he liked. A man nearby argued quietly with himself. Another stared at the ceiling like it owed him answers. Marcus pulled out the community college flyer again. He read the same lines for the 100th time. Leon leaned over. "You really thinking about that?" "Yeah," Marcus said. "I am." Leon shook his head. "School don't fix this kind of broke." Marcus didn't answer right away. He watched his own hands instead. "I used to build things," Marcus said finally. "Maybe I still can." Leon didn't argue this time. He just lay back and closed his eyes. Marcus stared at the flyer until the words blurred. Something inside him refused to die completely. Even here, even now. He folded the paper carefully and placed it back, like it might matter more tomorrow. A shelter worker walked by checking beds. She stopped for a second at Marcus. "You okay tonight?" she asked. "Yeah," he said. "Just tired." She nodded like she understood more than she said. Then she kept moving. Lights dimmed slowly overhead. The shelter quieted into uneasy sleep sounds. Marcus lay down, but didn't sleep yet. He listened to the building breathe around him. Every sound felt like a reminder. Every silence felt like a decision waiting. He thought about his daughter again. Her laugh still lived somewhere in his memory. He wondered if she still remembered his voice. That thought sat heavy in his chest. Marcus closed his eyes finally, not because he was ready, because he had to be. Outside, Chicago kept moving like nothing broke at all. Inside, a man refused to disappear quietly. And somewhere under all that noise, something was starting to shift. Marcus woke before the shelter lights fully came on. The air still carried last night's breath and tired silence. Someone coughed in the corner like it hurt to be alive. Chicago morning pressed against the windows, gray and heavy again. He sat up slow, rubbing his face with rough hands. For a second, he forgot where he was. That second always felt like peace before reality returned. Then the metal cot creaked, and it all came back. Leon was already awake, tying his red hat tight. "You snore like a busted engine," Leon said. Marcus gave a small, tired smile. "At least I sleep," he said. Leon laughed and stood up. "Sleep is a luxury, my friend." Breakfast came in plastic trays. Scrambled eggs that didn't really look like eggs. Toast that bent instead of broke. Coffee that tasted like burnt hope. Marcus ate anyway. His body didn't ask for taste anymore. It only asked for fuel. A volunteer called names near the front desk. Some got beds again, some didn't. Marcus always watched that list carefully. He knew how close uncertainty lived here. Outside, the city had already started moving fast. Buses hissed through slush and salt. People walked with coats pulled tight like armor. Marcus stepped out with Leon into the cold. The wind hit harder than yesterday. "Where you headed?" Leon asked. "Library," Marcus said. "Need Wi-Fi." Leon nodded. Same story, different chair. Marcus didn't argue. That was mostly true. They walked together for a while, then split at the corner like they always did. The library sat 2 blocks past a grocery store. Warm light spilled through its tall windows. That glow still felt like permission.
Inside, it smelled like old books and heating vents. Marcus signed in and sat at a corner computer. His hands hovered over the keyboard for a moment. So many applications. So many no replies. He started again anyway. Warehouse work, construction labor, anything. Each form felt like shouting into water, but he kept shouting. A librarian walked past quietly. She had seen him too many times not to notice. "You still looking?" she asked softly. "Yeah," Marcus said, "still looking." She nodded. "Keep your head up." He almost laughed at that. Not because it was funny, because it was hard. But he said nothing, just kept typing. Hours passed like slow wait. His stomach tightened again, then settled. He was used to that rhythm now. Outside the window, snow started falling again. Not heavy, just enough to make everything quieter. Leon showed up later, shaking off cold. "You live here now?" Marcus asked. Leon grinned. "Better than outside." He sat beside Marcus without asking, looked at the screen. "You applied to that construction site on Western?" Leon asked. "Yeah," Marcus said. "Yesterday." "Call back?" Marcus shook his head. Leon leaned back in the chair. "They don't like gaps," he said. "I know," Marcus replied. Silence settled between them. Not uncomfortable, just real. Leon tapped the table lightly. "You ever think about going back?" "Back where?" Marcus asked. Leon shrugged. "Before all this." Marcus didn't answer right away. His mind went somewhere it didn't like going. The house, the table, the papers. His daughter's cartoon laughter in another room. "I think about it too much," Marcus said finally. Leon nodded slowly. "Yeah, same." A group of teenagers came in laughing loud. They didn't notice the corner where Marcus sat. That used to bother him. Now it just passed through. Marcus finished another application, then another. Each click felt like hope wearing thin. At some point, the librarian came back. She placed a small note beside him. "You've got 10 minutes left," she said gently. Marcus nodded. "Thanks." He saved everything fast, logged out. The ritual was familiar now. Outside, snow had turned into wet, cold rain again, the kind that soaks faster than it falls. Marcus pulled his jacket tighter. Leon lit a cigarette under the awning. "You ever feel like this city don't want us?" Leon asked. Marcus looked at the street. Buses, cars, people rushing past like currents. "I think it just doesn't see us," Marcus said. Leon exhaled smoke slowly. "Same thing sometimes." They stood there a moment longer. Then Marcus started walking again. He didn't know where exactly, just forward. He passed a hardware store window. Tools lined up neatly like old friends he'd lost touch with. Something inside him tightened. Not pain, not hope. Something in between. He stopped walking. Leon noticed. "What?" Marcus stared through the glass. "Used to know every one of those tools," he said. Leon followed his gaze. "Still do," Leon said. Marcus shook his head slowly. "That's the problem. Knowing don't mean using." A long silence followed that. Then Leon spoke softer. "Then use them again." Marcus almost laughed, but it didn't come out like laughter. "I don't even got a job," he said. Leon shrugged. "Then get one." It sounded simple, too simple, but something about it stuck anyway. Marcus kept walking after that, but the words followed him. The afternoon brought more cold rain. He found himself back near the river again. Same bridge, same sound, same wind, but something felt slightly different inside him, like a door not fully closed anymore. He pulled out the community college flyer again, looked at it longer this time. Construction safety certification.
8 weeks. He traced the words with his thumb. "You still with me?" Leon's voice came from behind. Marcus nodded without turning. "Yeah," he said. "Still here." Leon stepped beside him. "Then do it," he said. Marcus finally looked at him. "Do what?" "Stop waiting," Leon said. The wind hit harder for a moment. Marcus didn't answer right away. Something inside him was shifting slow, not breaking, not healing, changing. Far above them, traffic rolled on like nothing mattered. But down here, a different kind of decision was forming. Marcus folded the flyer carefully again, tighter this time, like it meant more now. He looked at Leon. "Where do I even start?" Marcus asked. Leon smiled slightly. For once, he said, you already did. Marcus stood there in the cold, feeling like something had just turned quietly inside his life, and he didn't know it yet, but that was the first real step back up. Marcus stood outside the library long after Leon walked away. The rain had eased into a thin, freezing mist. Streetlights blinked on early like the city was tired too. He held the folded flyer in his hand like it weighed more now. His fingers were still cold from the river wind, but something in him wasn't backing down anymore. He started walking toward the community college that night. Not fast, not slow, just steady. The campus sat near the South Side train line. Old brick buildings with warm windows and loud heaters. A security guard looked at him as he entered.
Marcus didn't look away this time. I'm here for enrollment info, Marcus said. The guard pointed inside without a word. The office smelled like paper and cheap coffee. A woman behind the desk smiled like she had seen everything. Evening classes? She asked. Yes, ma'am, Marcus said. Construction safety certification. She typed for a moment. $200, she said. Marcus nodded slowly. I'll figure it out. She studied him for a second, then slid a form across the desk. You start next Monday, she said. Marcus blinked once. Just like that? She shrugged. Most people don't come back after asking. That sentence stayed with him longer than he expected. Outside, the cold felt sharper, but it didn't feel heavier. Leon was waiting near the bus stop. You look different, Leon said. I signed up, Marcus replied. Leon smiled wide. About time something signed you back. Marcus almost laughed. It came out quiet but real. That night, Marcus slept different. Still on a cot, still in shelter, but not the same inside his head. The first class came fast. He borrowed a clean shirt from the shelter box, pressed it flat with his hands like that mattered. The classroom lights were too bright at first. 50 chairs, half filled, mostly younger men. The instructor wrote on a board, hard hats, safety codes, load limits. Marcus listened like his life depended on it, because part of him knew it did. A younger guy next to him whispered, You work construction? Used to, Marcus said. The guy nodded. Respect. That word hit Marcus strangely. He hadn't heard it in a long time. Weeks passed like that. Class, shelter, library, repeat. Leon stayed nearby but drifted more each week. Different corners of the city, same struggle. Marcus didn't drift, he locked in. He studied at night under dim shelter lights, writing notes on stolen paper scraps from the library. One shelter worker noticed. You're always studying, she said one night. I'm behind, Marcus said. You're not behind, she replied. You're rebuilding. That would stuck too. Winter deepened over Chicago. Wind cut sharper through empty streets. Marcus kept showing up anyway. Then came the day of the exam. He sat in a small testing room, pencil shaking slightly in his hand. Questions about measurements and safety rules. Things he used to know without thinking. He closed his eyes for 1 second, saw scaffolding, steel beams, early mornings. Then he started writing. When time ended, he didn't feel sure, just tired in a deeper way. 2 days later, he returned to the office. The woman looked up at him. You passed, she said. Marcus didn't move for a second, like the words needed space to land. I passed, he repeated. She nodded. Barely, but yes. Something in Marcus broke open quietly. Not pain, not sadness, something lighter. Leon found out that night. You did it, Leon said, almost shouting. Marcus nodded slowly. I did it. Leon grabbed his shoulder.
That's not small, man. That's not small at all. Marcus felt it then. First real win in years. But wins don't fix everything. They just open doors. Marcus still had nowhere permanent to stay. Still had no steady paycheck. But now he had something else. A certification. A starting point. The construction company on Western called back. The same one that ignored him before. This time they didn't hang up fast. Certified? The voice asked. Yes, Marcus said. Can you start Monday? Marcus paused only once. Yes, he said. That night he didn't sleep much. Not from fear, from waiting. Leon watched him pack his small bag. You nervous? Leon asked. Yeah, Marcus said honestly, but not in a bad way. Leon nodded. That's progress. Monday morning came too early. Marcus stood at the job site gate, hard hat in hand, new gloves, old boots. The foreman looked him up and down. You the new certified guy? Yes, sir, Marcus said. The foreman grunted. Show me you're worth it. Marcus nodded once. I will. The first day was simple work, not heavy yet. Watching, learning, carrying. But every step felt like something returning. Steel beams under sun, the smell of dust and oil, the sound of tools hitting metal. His hands remembered faster than his mind. A younger worker watched him. You sure you were out of this? Marcus wiped sweat from his face. Yeah, he said. I was. The guy shook his head. You don't move like someone who stayed out. Marcus didn't answer that.
He just kept working. Weeks turned into months. Paychecks started coming. Small, but real. First thing Marcus did was get a storage unit. Not a home yet, but a place. He put everything he owned inside it. Backpack, papers, old blanket, flyer from the beginning. He stood outside it for a long time after closing the door. That's mine now, he said quietly. Leon showed up one night outside the shelter. You look different again, Leon said. I got work, Marcus replied. Leon smiled. Of course you did. They stood together under streetlight silence. Leon looked away first. I'm happy for you, he said. Marcus nodded. You could still come with me, Marcus said. Leon shook his head. I'm not there yet. Marcus understood. He didn't push. Some paths split, even when people care. One spring morning, Marcus got a letter, forwarded from an old address. His hands shook before opening it. It was from his daughter's school office. A note about contact updates, emergency info. A number was listed at the bottom. Marcus stared at it for a long time, longer than he meant to. He waited 2 days before calling. The phone rang 3 times, then a voice answered. Hello? His throat tightened instantly. It's Marcus, he said softly. Silence on the other end, long enough to feel like forever. Then a smaller voice in the background. Who is it? His daughter's voice. Older now, still familiar. Marcus closed his eyes. It's your dad, he said. Another silence, different this time, not empty.
Hi, she said finally. That was all. Just one word. But it broke something open in him. They didn't fix everything in one call. They didn't even try. But they talked again the next week, then the week after. Slow rebuilding, careful steps. Marcus didn't rush it. He couldn't afford to lose it again. Summer heat came back to Chicago. Construction sites got louder. Days got longer. Marcus worked steady hours now, saved money slowly, carefully. One afternoon, the foreman called him over. You've been solid, he said. Marcus nodded. Thank you. We need a lead hand, the foreman continued. You interested? Marcus didn't answer immediately. He looked at the crew first, then nodded once. Yes, sir. That night, Marcus walked past the river again. Same bridge, same water. But he didn't stop there anymore. He just looked once, then kept walking. Months later, he rented a small apartment. Nothing fancy, clean walls, working heat. He stood inside it alone at first, listening to quiet like it was new. He placed his hard hat on the table, sat down slowly, and just stayed there for a while. Not celebrating, not crying, just present. Leon visited one time after that, standing at the door awkward. Nice place, Leon said. Marcus smiled. It's mine. Leon nodded. Yeah, I see that. They didn't talk long, but it was enough. That night, after Leon left, Marcus looked in the mirror, really looked. Same face, different weight behind the eyes. He whispered something to himself. I'm still here. And this time it meant something different. Not survival, not struggle, not waiting. Presence. Real presence. Years of noise settled into something quiet and steady. Not perfect, not easy, but earned. Marcus thought about the bridge one last time. Not with pain, not with anger, with distance. Like remembering a storm from inside a warm room. He sat down at his table, opened a notebook with a clean page, and wrote one line. Start where you are, even if it's the bottom. He stopped there, because that was enough truth for one page, and maybe enough truth for a life. A life that had been broken, rebuilt, and carried forward again. Not by luck, not by rescue, by steps that kept going when nothing made sense.
And in that quiet apartment in Chicago, Marcus Reed finally understood something simple. He had never stopped being the kind of man who builds things, even when he had nothing left to build with. And that was the part of him that never left, that stayed under every cold night, that stayed under every closed door, that stayed under every silence, waiting for him to stand back up. He did, and he kept standing. He had learned something he would never forget again. Life doesn't return what you lose. It teaches you how to build something new from it. And sometimes, that is the only kind of victory that lasts. What would you build if you started from nothing and refused to stop? The story is now complete.